All right, the dinging has slowed down and it is about 3:02, so we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Krista Martin. I'm going to be sort of your moderator here today, but it's really some of my colleagues I'm looking forward to introducing you to. We are so thrilled to welcome you to the Harvard community. I know many of you are still making your decisions, but we're really thrilled to welcome you and tell you a little bit about what we do. What I'm going to suggest is that we're going to walk you all the way through our presentation here and provide you some information. And then at the end, we're going to open it up to questions. So you can post your questions in the chat. I'm going to ask that we do post questions in the chat, just because if we all try to unmute ourselves at once, it's going to get crazy. I'll invite you to do that, and we'll field as many of those questions as we can in that chat. But if we can't field your question in the chat, there are some other places for you to get some information. But let's start off by sharing some information with you here. So again, my name is Krista Martin. I work at Harvard University Dining Services, and Harvard University Dining Services, or HUDS as we like to call it, is the team of people who are responsible for providing your dining experience while you're a student at Harvard College. So I'm going to invite my colleagues to introduce themselves, because they're really the ones who are going to take you through this talk today. So we'll start with Bruce.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bruce Calvert. I'm the Director for Residential Dining Operations. Looking forward to chatting with you all today.
And next is Martin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Martin Breslin, the Director of Culinary Operations at Harvard. Otherwise, your campus chef. Nice to meet you.
Next up is Andrew Camusel.
Hey everybody, my name's Andrew. I am the General Manager of Annenberg Dining Hall, which would be your dining hall as a first-year student. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you guys today.
And finally, we have Emily.
Hey everyone, my name is Emily Bridges. I am the registered dietitian for Harvard Dining Services.
So normally during a Visitas, you would get to come and dine in the operation at Annenberg and have the full experience. So we're going to try to show you a little bit of what you might have tasted had you been able to come to campus. And we'll start with Bruce.
So I'm sure you're all aware, Harvard University is made up of the house system. Within that system, it encompasses 14 dining locations. The 12 houses, Annenberg, which is where first years typically eat, and Hillel, which is also our kosher facility. Our program is set up to nourish and support students, faculty, staff, and guests by creating experiences that foster friendship, encourage learning, and cultivating community. It's truly the heart of the house. If you want to go on to the next one, Krista.
Andrew, you want to tell us about Annenberg a bit?
Yeah, so for those of you who haven't seen Annenberg, some refer to it as Hogwarts, but to us it's Annenberg. If you click on that link in the first sentence there, that's going to give you a time lapse of what a typical meal period looks like in Annenberg. Annenberg is the exclusive dining hall to the first year students from lunch to our brain break. So with that being said, you'll see breakfast from 7:30 to 10:15, lunch 11:30. Our dinner service from 4:30 to 7:30. But with that being said, that doesn't mean that once those meal periods are over, you're locked out of Annenberg. You'll always be allowed in through elevator access with your Harvard ID, so you can come in and grab some fruit or some ice cream, grab your bag meal as one of the options if you're on the run. But you're always welcome to hang out in Annenberg, study, beyond just having your meal. And then just Annenberg in action. You see a couple pictures here. So some of the concepts we do, we're a busy operation. We're always trying to do something to make it fun for all the students. One of the concepts here you'll see in the pictures are Meet the Manager Station. It's an opportunity for our managers to showcase, to introduce ourselves to you. So there you'll see we do Meet the Manager. It's a showcase of your favorite foods, where you're from, but just really an opportunity for you to get to know us. Annenberg has 75 full-time and dedicated employees, 7 managers who are always there. There's always a manager on duty. We also have 2 student employees. We're always there, so we really encourage you to come speak to us if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, or if you're missing something, you can't find the hot sauce. We're here for you and your dining experience. So really encourage you to get to come to know us as well. And like I said, we're really looking forward to seeing you in the fall.
And that is Andrew on the left, featuring his famous Jersey burger, just so you know.
That's right, Taylor ham.
All right, Martin, tell us about the menu.
Okay, I think I'm off mute. So when you think of Harvard, in all likelihood, your first thought is not what's for dinner. However, it's the primary thought of most students on most days. So let me tell you about what's on the menu and and how we develop them. So it's also important to note that it's a priority for Harvard Dining Services to serve food that is processed sustainably. We support our local economy by purchasing many foods from many New England farmers, fishermen, and bakers. We write all our menus to emphasize food that is fresh and in season. While the New England growing season, which is actually very tight, it's only 8 weeks, we focus on sourcing local produce that will be ripe during school months and some that can store well. Our menus change seasonally to avail of this. We work with the Culinary Institute of America to develop truly ethnic cuisines, dishes from ethnic cuisines, which include Japanese, Korean, Indian, Indonesian, and plenty of American comfort foods. We also like to think that in addition to providing students with physical nourishment, we also educate them about the food they enjoy. So let's talk about what's on the menu. So for breakfast every day, we have a broad variety of 12 cereals that stay throughout the day: oatmeal, bagels, muffins, fries, country sausage, bacon, and a vegan station, which is very popular. But my personal favorite is on Sundays, we have a Belgian waffles with the Veritas symbol, and it's a make your own station. It's a lot of fun. At lunch, there's always 2 soups, a selection of entrees, 3 entrees. One is always vegan, and more friendly lunch foods like sandwiches that students can eat that are lighter. Grilled artichoke and gruyere is a very popular sandwich at lunch. We also have 2 hot seasonal vegetables, starches, an actual make-your-own sandwich bar, composed salads, a full salad bar, a chili bar with all the accoutrements, and still more cereal. Fresh fruit, and if none of that suits you, you can order from the grill. We have burgers, hot dogs, grilled cheese, and a new big favorite is Beyond Meat burgers, which are vegan. Hot dogs, garden burgers, eggs, and the like. The same extensive variety is available for dinner. As students generally have more time to sit and relax for dinner, we have make-your-own stations ranging from ramen bowls to Mediterranean platters. We're always experimenting with new dishes. We offer a bistro bowl on Thursdays that is from the grill. That's like you would get in a restaurant. It could be shrimp and grits, it could be barbecue short ribs. And to do all this, to make our menus, we stay in close contact with students and their needs, their preferences, and simply things that make them feel like they're at home, foods. We talk to students one-on-one, we get feedback with a text and tell, we respond within 24 hours, we conduct comprehensive surveys and implement menu changes based on that. On any given day, if a student does not see his or her favorite kind of salad dressing or cereal, all they have to do is ask and it will be provided. So why do we do all this? We do all this because we understand that no matter how good our food is, if you eat the same place every day, 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, you need good variety. You need, it needs to be fun, which Bruce will talk to you a little bit about, and a change of pace. And we love mixing it up. So there's much more I could add, but rest assured, we will make sure that you are properly fed, fueled, and individually attended to. And I look forward to seeing you in the fall. Thank you.
So our program, as Martin suggested, of a number of components. We highlight many of the Harvard traditions like faculty and class dinners, as well as community nights. We also incorporate several special events within the menus, which are made up of festive meals, MYO stations, which are called make your own stations, which allow you to really custom dishes. We have bistro bowls, savory spotlights, just to name a few. We also have a program that we run every spring. It's called Recipes from Home. And this is your parents in early January requesting your favorite recipe. We highlight those in all the houses. So that's just one of many of the programs that we offer as monotony breakers within our program. We have a very comprehensive bag meal program. It's a program that allows you to place orders up to a week in advance. It also allows you to set up one-time or recurring orders and keeps track of all your individual. Next. As a part of your meal plan, you receive $130 a year as what we call plus, but they're basically dining dollars, which is made up of $65. This allows you to spend those dollars in our house grills, which there are 6 or 7 of those within the houses, as well as our retail cafes, which there are that are made up of locations from Harvard Kennedy School to Lamont Library to Northwest Labs. Also, as a part of we have a kosher and halal. Our kosher, we have kosher corners in all of our residential dining rooms. These are located in all of our serveries where they have separate toasters, separate microwaves, and separate refrigerators that allow you to grab kosher items. We also serve halal options as well on our grill, as well as offer 2 community nights a week, one at Cabot House and one at Adams House.
Okay, so when we think about developing the menus and adding new recipes, we follow what's called the Menus of Change principles that were co-created by the Harvard School of Public Health as well as the Culinary Institute of America. The principles focus on a variety of sustainability initiatives, such as Martin had mentioned, like local procurement of produce and seafood, to a range of nutrition principles as well, like reduction of red meat and salt and sugar, and an increased consumption of whole grains and minimally processed foods. So because of this, and because of that being our foundation, you'll see a lot of items on the menu that are kind of plant-driven and focused on more minimally processed ingredients. So, we're looking to move more towards legumes and lentils and things like that. But we also try to balance these kind of more nutritional menu items with more indulgent menu items as well to kind of meet whatever kind of cravings happen to hit you on any particular day. So just some general highlights, but by no means is this all encompassing. So in terms of vegetarian options, there's one available at every meal, with many of those being vegan as well. We have a range of vegan chilies and vegetarian chilies that we feature for lunch and dinner, as well as a soup option that's always either vegetarian or vegan. And we have a variety of those soups, so many different many options. We utilize canola oil instead of peanut oil in the fryers. And then we have a rotating variety of different make your own stations that allow you to customize your meal with various grains, protein sources, and fruits, as we had mentioned before. We have a fully stocked salad bar, so that has a lot of not only fresh fruits and vegetables, but also pre-composed salads that we have, bean salads, hummus, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, cooked and seasoned vegetables as well, with plenty of spices and dressings and things to customize your salad. And then along with the more vegetable options, we always have one that's prepared for lunch and dinner, one being more kind of flavor driven and the other one being more minimally prepared, so minimal fat, minimal seasoning. So you have those options available at every meal, as well as usually a plant-based protein or starch source like quinoa, grains, beans, those kind of things. So you can kind of mix and match and make it whatever you'd like. And then, so if you do have a special dietary need, say like a food allergy, we have a process that we follow. We ask that you would register with our accessibility education office, just so we can best support you throughout your 4 years here. Where after you submit documentation, we kind of meet with you, the whole team. So you have a huge support system here at Dining, including myself, where we can kind of formulate a plan for you that might be as simple as giving you a tour of the dining hall, letting you know that you can access our menus online and at point of service, or potentially purchasing new products like gluten-free breads, things like that to meet your needs, to something as involved as buying you your own meal kit so we can make sure that we are preparing your meal allergen-free, which follows you from Annenberg to the house that you're going to. So you can utilize what we call the email method to get your meal made in advance, and it's placed in a container that's just solely used by you, and you can access that anytime you go into the dining hall. And then I'm there to follow up as well. And then general information. So all of our managers are Selfserve certified and they're trained in allergen awareness. Many of the cooks are as well. I mentioned the menus are posted online. We flag them even if like certain allergens are flagged even if an item was made in the facility or made on equipment with that allergen. A little disclaimer though that our fryers are multi-use and they're generally not considered safe for students with allergies. Self-serve stations, we change utensils every 20 minutes to prevent cross-contamination. We offer a variety of dairy-free lactose milks, as well as sunflower butter as opposed to peanut butter, but we also do offer peanut butter as well. We have gluten-free soup bases that we use in all of our soups, which makes a lot of them gluten-free. We use tamari instead of soy sauce, and we have separate gluten-free toasters available in every dining hall. And we can also get additional equipment based on your needs as well. And then we're evaluating that menu on a regular basis to make sure that all the ingredients are being checked and verified and their labels are accurate by myself and the dining administration.
So that was a very quick tour of our dining experience, but I already see some questions coming in on the chat. So the first question was, do freshmen eat all 3 meals at Annenberg? There are 13 dining locations on campus. First-year students eat primarily at Annenberg Dining Hall, but you also have the opportunity to eat what we call interhouse, which is you can go to any of the upper class houses and eat with respect to, occasionally they have restricted hours. But really, Annenberg is the home for first-year students, and it's where you will interact the most with each other. And maybe I'll ask Andrew to speak to that a bit. I'm going to unmute him. There you go, Andrew. So part of that.
Sorry about that. So that the question was about interhouse?
Yeah, and just sort of, you know, do freshmen eat all their meals at Annenberg?
Yeah, so I would say the majority of meals for the first years you will be eating at Annenberg. So a lot of the housing are the decision for interhouse comes from faculty deans who primarily oversee those houses. So they're the ones who really come up with restrictions, and it can change from time to time. So primarily the meals in Annenberg, that's where you would be eating. We find a lot of the students find their groove and get comfortable eating in Annenberg. Sometimes we even have upperclassmen that constantly want to come into Annenberg for those other meal periods. But it really depends on the house, and you'll find that on the HUD's website who has inter-house restrictions and who doesn't. So that would be your best resource to find.
But if you're part of a team or you have an extracurricular group and you all have a meeting, sometimes you'll do that over dinner and sometimes you'll do that in a location other than Annenberg, and that's perfectly fine. So that meal plan applies at Annenberg, it applies at the houses, it applies at the Hillel Kosher kitchen that Bruce was talking about, and the Board Plus is part of that meal plan. So, so a couple of questions circled around that. Another question was, are we Aramark? No, Harvard University Dining Services is a part of Harvard University. We are all employees of Harvard University, and I think that makes us more and more invested in your everyday experience. There was a question about our gluten-free options at every meal. So Emily, I'll let you field that.
So we do have, obviously the menu changes, and we do look at the menu in terms of making sure that each day we have a variety of options for every diet as much as we can. So we have, again, the soups, and a lot of our entrees are gluten-free as well. And if they're not gluten-free, then that's also the time where if you are registered with AEO, that you can, you know, that's when we put that plan in place so that you could potentially get something created for you that would be without your allergen, including gluten.
Great, and stay unmuted, Emily. There are a couple more questions. There was a question, you know, as someone has an allergy to mango, and the sort of generally, how do you manage cross contact?
Again, like with the self-serve stations, we are making sure that we have someone that's monitoring those. So say there is mango or something on a self-service station, we're monitoring that to make sure that, you know, we're changing the utensils to make sure the cross contact isn't happening in that sense, and that it's staying generally clean. And then if you do, depending on the level of severity of your allergies, that's when it's good for us to be involved in that type of knowledge, just so that we can prepare your meals without the allergen present. In terms of, you know, back of house and that kind of thing, I would let Martin potentially speak to how the training goes for cooks and things like that with the allergen students.
Sure. So we actually have all our staff, our culinary staff, take the allergy certificate that is actually mandated by the state of Massachusetts. So we talked with our students, with our employees, pardon me, and we train them in regard to safe handling of foods regarding students' allergies. But we also, as Emily pointed out earlier, how if you have more than just, if it's a mango or you know, more allergies, we put a plan in place for you so that you are well taken care of. And our utensils on the salad bar, because potentially, you know, there could be cross contact with somebody taking a spoon from a salad bar and moving it down. They're changed every 20 minutes. So there's always staff watching that to make sure that nobody has any cross contact with the food that's being served.
So there was a question about typical dining hall hours on weekdays and weekends. And Bruce, maybe you could field that one.
Sure. We do have fixed meal hours that you can see on our website, but typically breakfast runs from 7:30 to 10. Lunch is 11:30 to 2:15, and dinner is 4 to 7:15. Some locations 7:30. And I saw a question about late night dining. We do have one hall that's kept open just for athletes until 8:30.
Terrific. There are a couple of questions about what the meal plan is. So as Bruce mentioned at the beginning, the meal plan is unlimited. There's only one meal plan, and it's all the years that you are at Harvard. And the idea behind that is that there's so much activity at Harvard that happens around the dining hall, so much community that happens around the dining hall, that they want everyone to have equal access at all times. People use the dining hall in all kinds of ways. And so rather than have a system whereby every time you come in, you have to swipe and lose a meal or anything like that, our meal plan is unlimited. You can come in twice a day. You can come in 6 times a day if that's what you choose. There is no barrier to how often you can be in the dining hall. And so to that end, it's unlimited all 4 years of your experience. All right. There's a question about taking meals from the dining hall to other locations, such as one's dorm. Bruce, you want to field that one?
Sure. Because we have our meal plan is set up so that it's all access. We frown on food leaving the dining hall. Obviously, you can take a piece of hand fruit or a dessert or a cookie or an ice cream cone or whatever. But typically we're open hours that people can access. So we don't have a takeout policy. If there's a need for you to run, obviously the best way to go about that is we have what's called the flyby, which is located in the lower level of Annenberg. This is for upperclassmen, where you can basically create your own bag meal or order a bag meal online.
Great, thank you. There are a couple of questions around allergies and when do you register with the Accessible Education Office and what kind of information do you need to provide them? Emily, could you take that?
Sure. So generally the information that the AEO is looking for is medical documentation. If you have allergies, then it's going to be an IgE blood test, likely from your allergist or doctor. Anything else, medical conditions, things like that, again, just coming from your doctor. An AEO will begin reaching out to students in collaboration with myself over the summer for students that kind of come forward and say, hey, I have an allergy, that kind of thing. We'll work with them to get a plan if you choose to come to Harvard moving forward.
And there were a couple of specific questions, questions about specific allergens. So as Emily says, she and the Accessible Education Office and the chef will work with every individual and they will come up with a plan with you individually to address your specific needs at whatever level that you're comfortable with. So whatever your specific allergy is, it can be managed. There's a question about the menu online and is nutrition information also available? Emily, you want to do that?
Yeah, it is available online as well as the entire ingredient list.
Terrific. Chef Martin, is there an ice cream machine?
Yes, there is in every location, and they're very popular.
And they serve frozen yogurt as well, right?
We serve salad ice cream. We do ice cream Sundays and Sunday nights, but the self-serve is available at lunch and dinner every day.
Terrific. There was an additional question about having a guest come in. You do have, your Board Plus allows you to buy guest meals. So if you have a brother or sister visiting, you can purchase them a guest meal with your Board Plus if you so choose. And they're welcome to eat in the dining hall with you in that way. A question about, is there non-dairy ice cream?
Yes, we also have that available, and all you got to do is ask.
A question about, is there dining available during breaks? Bruce.
Typically, there is not. The only period where there isn't during winter session. So if you're involved or taking classes during winter session, which is right after New Year, We do have dining available, but we are open during Thanksgiving, closed during the holidays between Christmas and New Year's, and then we close for that week of spring break as well.
Then there were a couple of questions about can you use your meal plan at area restaurants? You cannot. So there are Board Plus dollars that you can use at cafes on campus that we run. So for example, there's a cafe in the library called Lamont Library Cafe. And if you want a cup of coffee or a pastry, you can certainly use your Board Plus there. But the meal plan does not work at area restaurants like Sweet Green, for example. I'm taking a quick look to see whether I missed any of the questions. I think we did okay. Are there any, can you have cooking supplies in your room? I truly don't know the full answer to that. There are a variety of small kitchens around campus in different residential buildings. And it sort of all depends on what building you are housed in. So that can be very, location specific.
Hey, Chris, I know you can't have coffee makers in your dorm.
Okay.
But I would defer to the first year experience office and what you can have.
Okay.
Because there are kitchen areas in some of the dorms, but they are restrictive on a lot of equipment within the rooms themselves.
Okay. There was a question, if you do research during the summer, are all the dining halls still open? The dining halls are not open during the summer. There is a summer school program, and Andrew and Bruce, maybe you can talk to how that's accessed by undergraduates.
Andrew?
So for undergraduates, typically you would go through the summer school offices to get an approval of some sort. We would work with those offices to get that. And then we would set you up with a meal plan once approved. But it's the same idea during summer school, different meal plan situation, whereas it's one swipe, it's not an unlimited meal plan. But if you were to be here in the summer and working or whatnot, you can come to us and we'll point you in the right direction on how to start that process.
Yeah, what's different about summertime is there are multiple meal plans. So you have some options during the summertime, so you aren't relegated to having every meal in the dining hall.
There was a question about recipes from home. So I think Martin mentioned this. We invite your families to submit recipes from home. We particularly focus on serving those in February and early March. And your families are invited to submit a recipe. We review them for our ability to do them justice. So there are occasionally recipes where we couldn't do them justice. So we might not be able to feature those, but otherwise we love to see what your family likes to cook at home. Question about, are dining halls ever all closed at the same time outside of holidays? Bruce?
No. So we have several events during the year. Welcome back, the Student Activities Fair, and then the Spring Fest in the spring, where we close all the dining halls to do an outdoor event for all students. We keep 2 dining halls open, one on the quad and then usually one on the other end of campus.
Great. There's a question about the cost of the meal plan. So we call it the board rate. And if you take a look at the Harvard undergraduate cost of attendance, it's in there as part of room and board. And off the top of my head, I don't know the number. Question about athlete dining after practice. We may have mentioned this sort of quickly, but but Bruce, could you reiterate what the athlete option is?
Yeah, athletics, we keep Diner House open, available for athletes until 8:30.
Terrific. Can upperclassmen eat in houses that aren't their own? Upperclassmen have to follow the same inter-house restrictions that any student does. So yes, they can eat in other houses, but only when it's allowed by those houses that they're visiting. Do we have to pay for our meal plan, or is that part of our tuition and school expenses? That's all part of the great big bundle that Harvard has.
Somebody just had a very funny comment. If my mom submits a recipe, ignore it. Thank you, I will.
Are there 24-hour dining halls? No, there are not. Some of the library cafes operate until about 2 a.m., but that is sort of the latest. Did we miss anything else? So on our website, there is an opportunity. So if you go to dining.harvard.edu, that is our website. And on our website, there is a feedback form. If other questions come to you, you can always take a look at that. You can submit those questions on that feedback form. And provided you include your email address, one of us will get back to you. And we sure hope we get to welcome you here to campus in late August. So thank you, everybody. Be well.
Take care.
Thank you.